Okay, I'll stop this training just for a minute. My name's Jay Devon and I want to share plenty of things to help everyone to be happier on the court. Today's video is mental. What I mean by that is the mental game. So if you've watched a little bit of tennis, then you're going to hear all the commentators, the former champions who are talking about it, the players when they're having their press conferences, not only this decade, for many decades, is all saying that, hey, the way tennis is and the scoring system in the unique way that it goes is that tennis is a mental game. Okay, and I'm here to make sure that you realize that it doesn't drive you mental, or it's not supposed to. Okay, it's that they're talking about to the person who wins or loses, or how well do you play, is primarily mental. So there's lots of people, the top athletes, like Djokovic is so often quoted repeatedly saying that, all the guys are fit, all the guys can serve, all the guys can hit forehands and backhands, everyone can play all these things really well. The difference is the mental game. So this is talking about how the mind works and all these type of things. The really common way that it's spoken about in all the sports is mental toughness, or that player is too mentally strong. Okay, so I'm here to tell you that, sorry, your brain doesn't have muscles. It's a very broad depiction of reality. Is the mental component of the game. Yes, it is the most critical factor by far, that's for sure. Is that it's not a toughness or a strength. Okay, so you're not supposed to feel like a lesser of a person if you have, for example, almost won the match, serve for the match, or you have a match point and you lose. It's not supposed to be that then you're no longer a good a person that you thought you were, that you're a failure or a loser. Everyone can happen, and this can happen to everyone. It's all about a mental discipline and a mental concentration. That means it's not a toughness or a strength. It's just, what are you thinking about at the time? How focused are you doing it, and how disciplined are to keep applying yourself to the things that you need to be thinking of and doing, okay? Of course, everybody has expectations. Everybody's trying to do as well as they can. So these factors all come in. So then there's emotional stress, the mental stress, and the physical stress. It's learning how to do all these different things, okay, and managing them as best as possible in very extreme situations. Now, given this, and you can have a look as far or wide as you want, is everyone is saying that tennis is a mental game. That's the most decisive factor of all. So I've always been telling people, I said, hey, so then, given this is definitely the case, why is it then, when we're watching on the TV the pros at the top games, that almost exclusively, without fail, there is no mental trainer or mental skills coach or sports psychologist there with the player as their number one most important asset when they're playing and performing? Because that only makes sense. Instead, they're not there. There's only a coach, a tennis coach, or a physical trainer, and then some supporting family, etc., practice partner, friend. There is no most important person there. How has this happened? Okay, so what I can tell you from all my studies and having a look and reading a lot of things and learning and trying with myself and different players is that actually I find psychology as one of the most interesting subjects out of everything that exists on the planet. Okay, how people think, what they do, response, how they perceive things. Okay, so what I see is that, and from the people with PhDs in sports psychology that I've learned from and done my university course with and things like that, and lectures I've attended, is that my feeling is that the people who are the experts, the doctorates, the sports psychologists, the ones with the knowledge, is that there's a gap between practical application of the theory and the knowledge and the expertise, and how a player can use that in a really practical and very obvious and detailed sense and method, that they can use that whilst in the heat of battle, in the pressure and stress of match. Okay, things that they feel that they can really do from what they've learned, that actually is what all the players are worried about, is performing as best as they can and winning. Okay, so there's the knowledge and the expertise, and then there's the I need to win and I need to do as well as I can. There's a gap there because it doesn't make any sense. How can the sports psychologist or the mental skills expert not be the number one most important person that we've been seeing in the box with the players and everybody, and you know, in all the interviews at all the places, there's the sports mind expert with the players in all the sports, especially tennis. So they're not there, and if they are, they're there always for a short amount of time. So that tells me that when people engage that, because it's obvious that they should be engaging, that they're finding that the work that they do, yeah, maybe it's a little bit helpful, but they don't really feel that it's really making the difference on the court when they play. So there's not that tie onto the match that the player needs. Okay, so definitely true. When I was doing the Elite Performance Training Coach course in Australia for the highest certification in industry, is one of the guys who was doing the course with me at the time. You know, he had just the previous few months before that, he was the coach of one of the two guys who won Wimbledon, the Men's Open Wimbledon doubles title. And after never meeting before and talking to him at the lectures and the course, he's asking me, hey Jay, it's very interesting some of these things that you're saying. How could it be that you could come in and add in mental training to my players at my academy? Because that would really make a big difference. And then I said, I sort of do this, is the way I do things. I'll tell people reality and open up front. So I said to him, hey, listen, what it's going to be is, it's not going to be adding mental skills training to your academy and your players. It's supposed to be that everything is mental skills training and add the other bits in. Because remember, if it's all about mental, that means what you're thinking, what you're trying to do, the skills you need, that dictates the rest. But how the common thing is happening, which is why there's the coach and the physical trainer and not a mental skills training coach at the tournaments with the best players in the world, is that we're trying to add this in. Okay, this is not how it works. The mind is the most powerful source we have. Everything comes from there. All the things when you're doing it has to be tied from mental application. So to have the best performance, it's got to be actually that way. And he said, wow, okay, definitely, yes, I agree, but we're not going to have scope or payment for a facility to be able to do that. And that's going to be not a quick fix. That's going to be a big thing. So, and a big commitment. So that was an interesting thing, but that's the facts, right? It's all about this. So then as the players are on the court, I'll be looking at, as they play, all these type of things where, yes, you know, play 1 point at a time, you know, forget about this one, put your best effort on the next one. These things are massively general things. And when people are competing and they're having the biggest opportunity in their life to play this match, and maybe they've never been to a semi-final before of any tournament or of a Grand Slam tournament, when something's happening and they're feeling the stress, play one, all these generalizations, play 1 point at a time, don't worry, do as best as you can, all these really general things is totally not going to help. Okay, the things have to be super specific and super applicable and in a practical way to what they're doing during the points. Okay, because what happens during the point is deciding the outcome. Now, one of the biggest flaws I see in lots of sports psychology training is that people are trying to look at when players lose the point or win the point, whatever happens, there's a lot of focus on during the point routine, outside of the point routine, you know, what they're doing when the point's not live, how can they do? So such things as looking at their strings and playing with the strings and bouncing the ball. Nope, sorry, that's the wrong focus. What points are being won whilst they're looking at the strings and the point's not alive? What points are being won when they're walking from one side to the other? No points are being done. So that means if you want to have a really large impact on mental skills training that's actually going to impact who wins and loses, these things have to be tied to things that you're going to be doing during point play. Of course, you have to recover your mind outside of the points, but the things that are happening during the point play is what determines who wins and loses. So these things have to be applied during the points. They have to be really specific things, okay, super specific, that the players know I can do this system whilst playing a point, and that's going to be how I need to think, what I need to do, the way of steering my mind, because of course there's pressure, but it depends how you deal with it, all right? So this is some of the main factors of how important is the mental side of tennis, okay, and how loosely is it working, and why is it that, you know, when I mention this to people, people say, oh yeah, wow, why don't we see the mental trainer? Because really that should be the only person there, all right? So if you're really interested in how to become massively better and learn how to train your mind so that you can perform and have some real tangible things to do when you play points that straight away translates into better quality of play, you know who to hit up. This mental guy.